What if the very thing you are desperately trying to control is the exact thing that is draining your spirit? Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to constantly try to predict the future? There is a strange paradox in human nature. We spend so much of our energy trying to build a safe, predictable tomorrow, yet this very effort is what destroys our peace today. If you have ever felt paralyzed by a decision, terrified of making the wrong choice, or emotionally drained by trying to hold everything together, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see this pain forever. 1. The illusion of certainty. Here is a truth few people want to face. The tighter you hold on to tomorrow, the more you suffer today. You know this feeling intimately. You are standing at a crossroads. A relationship feels fragile and uncertain. A career path seems foggy, or life simply has not given you the answers you feel you need right now. So, what do? You overthink. You replay every possible scenario in your mind. You lie awake in the quiet hours of the night, trying to solve problems that have not even happened yet. You try to force an outcome, believing that if you just plan hard enough, worry long enough, or micromanage every detail, you will somehow guarantee a safe result. You mistake control for safety. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this craving for certainty is one of the deepest roots of our suffering. In Buddhist thought, the future does not actually exist. It is a phantom, shaped entirely by our fears, our memories, and our desires. Everything in this life is governed by impermanence. Everything is always shifting. To demand that the future be fixed, solid, and completely knowable is to argue with the very nature of existence itself. When we cling tightly to an outcome that has not yet arrived, we pull ourselves out of the only place where life is actually lived, the present moment. Imagine standing in the middle of a powerful flowing river. The water is moving fast, swirling around your legs, carrying leaves and branches downstream toward the ocean. Now, imagine trying to stop the river with your bare hands. You push against the current. You strain your muscles. You exhaust every single ounce of your energy trying to make the water stay still. But the river keeps moving. Life is that river. And your desperate need for certainty is your attempt to freeze the water. We do this in our modern lives every single day. We wait anxiously by the phone, hoping a message will finally confirm someone's feelings and give us stability. We obsess over a project at work, terrified that one small mistake will ruin our entire future. We delay making a choice about where to live, who to love, or what step to take next because we want an absolute guarantee that we will not fail. We freeze in fear, hoping the universe will hand us a perfect map before we are forced to take a single step. Ask yourself, what are you exhausting yourself trying to control right now? What are you afraid will happen if you loosen your grip just a little? Pause, breathe. Observe the fear of the unknown without letting it dictate your next move. Notice how heavy your hands feel when they are constantly clenched into fists. Stop trying to force the river to be still. You are carrying a weight you were never meant to hold. Peace is not found in knowing exactly what will happen tomorrow. Peace is found in trusting that you have the strength to handle whatever arrives. But letting go of control is only the first step, because beneath this exhausting need to manage the future, there is a deep, hidden emotional habit driving you. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. Why control feels like safety. What if the fortress you built to protect yourself is the very thing keeping you trapped? Here is a profound contradiction in the way we live. When the future is unclear, the mind panics. It looks out into the fog of tomorrow and feels completely vulnerable. So, you start building walls. You create rigid plans. You try to manage other people's reactions. You over-prepare for every possible disaster. You tell yourself, if I can just anticipate every problem, I will not get hurt. This emotional habit of control feels incredibly comforting. It wraps around you like a warm blanket in a freezing room. It tricks you into believing you are safe from disappointment, from failure, or from being left behind. But this safety is an illusion. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this intense clinging is a tragic misunderstanding of the human mind. We suffer not because the world is unpredictable, but because we attach our inner peace to things remaining exactly as we demand them to be. This is the heavy burden of attachment. The mind convinces you that if you can just manipulate the external world, your internal world will finally feel secure. But no matter how tightly you lock the doors, the wind will still blow. Imagine a bird that has lived its entire life inside a cage. The sky outside is vast, beautiful, and full of boundless possibility. But the sky is also entirely unpredictable. There are sudden storms, strong winds, and unknown dangers. So, the bird stays inside the metal bars. It memorizes the exact shape of the cage. It knows exactly what will happen every single day. The bird feels safe. But the door of the cage has always been wide open. The bird is choosing a predictable prison over an unpredictable freedom. We build our own cages out of control every single day. Think about your own life. You might stay in a situation that drains your soul simply because the misery is familiar and the unknown is terrifying. You might hold on to a relationship that no longer grows because knowing their flaws feels safer than the vast emptiness of walking away. You might refuse to make a decision, paralyzing yourself in the present moment, because actually choosing a path means you can no longer control the infinite possibilities of what might have been. You trade your freedom for a false sense of security. You let the fear of what you cannot see blind you to the beauty of what you could actually experience. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to simply because it is familiar? Are you actually protecting yourself, or are you just hiding? Is your need for control keeping you safe, or is it just keeping you stuck? Pause, breathe, feel the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your jaw. That is the physical weight of trying to hold the world together. Let it soften. You do not have to hold it all. You can step out of the cage, because true safety is not the absence of uncertainty. True safety is the deep inner knowing that you will be okay, even when things do not go according to your plan. But to step into that freedom, we have to face the heavy thoughts that keep us awake in the quiet hours. And this is where the next truth begins. 3. The weight of the what-ifs. What if the heaviest burdens you carry are entirely made of air? Here is a hard truth about human suffering. We suffer far more in our imagination than we ever do in reality. When the future is unclear and you are afraid to make a decision, your mind becomes a factory of fear. It works overtime, producing endless, terrifying scenarios. What if I fail? What if they walk away? What if I make this choice and completely ruin my life? You replay arguments that have not even happened. You mourn losses that have not yet occurred. You are fighting brutal, exhausting battles in a future that does not exist. Yet your heart, your mind, and your spirit are taking all the real damage today. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the untrained mind is easily swept away by these illusions. In Buddhist thought, the mind often confuses its own creations with absolute reality. We are taught the practice of mindfulness not to magically erase our fears, but to see them for what they truly are. A what-if is not a fact. It is simply a passing mental event. But when we attach ourselves to these anxious thoughts, when we believe them without question, we give them the power to destroy our peace. Imagine sitting in a quiet, dark room, illuminated by a single candle. Suddenly, a tiny moth flutters near the flame. On the wall, the light casts a massive, terrifying shadow. The shape looks like a towering monster, dark and menacing. If you believe the shadow is real, you will cower in the corner. You will prepare for battle. You will exhaust every ounce of your energy trying to defend yourself against this giant beast. But the beast is an illusion. The reality is just a tiny, harmless moth, distorted by the light. This is exactly what overthinking does to us in our daily lives. A friend takes a little too long to reply to a message, and the mind instantly projects a giant shadow of abandonment. We face a career change, and the mind casts a terrifying shadow of total financial ruin and public failure. We hesitate at a major crossroads in life, paralyzed by the shadow of regret. We spend our days utterly drained from fighting phantoms on the wall, completely missing the small, manageable truth of what is actually happening right here, right now. Ask yourself, what shadow are you fighting today? Which what if is stealing your energy and convincing you that disaster is right around the corner? Is this thought bringing you clarity, or is it just feeding your fear? Pause, breathe. The next time a heavy what if enters your mind, do not fight it. Do not try to forcefully push it away, because resisting the thought only makes the shadow grow larger. Instead, simply observe it. Let the thought drift across your awareness like a dark cloud moving across a vast open sky. It is passing through. You do not have to follow it. You do not have to answer every anxious thought your mind produces. You are the sky, not the clouds. But to truly stop fighting the shadows of tomorrow, we must learn to accept the fundamental nature of reality itself. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The wisdom of impermanence. What if the pain of life does not come from change itself, but from our absolute refusal to let things change? Here is a truth that goes against everything our anxious minds want to believe. We want the good moments to last forever. We want our loved ones to stay the same, our careers to remain stable, and our comfort to be guaranteed. When we find a situation that feels safe, we drive a heavy stake into the ground. We declare, this must never change. And when the inevitable shift happens, when the future refuses to look like the past, we are terrified. We panic. We desperately try to gather the pieces of our old reality and glue them back together, exhausting ourselves in the process. Buddhist wisdom teaches us one of the most profound and liberating laws of the universe: impermanence. In Buddhist thought, everything is in a constant, unbroken state of becoming and dissolving. The seasons shift, the tides rise and fall, emotions bloom and fade. People enter our lives, and sometimes the time comes for them to leave. Suffering is not caused by this natural cycle. Suffering is caused by our rigid demand that the temporary must somehow become permanent. When we fight impermanence, we are fighting the very heartbeat of existence. Imagine a great, ancient tree standing in a quiet forest. As autumn approaches, the air grows cold, and the leaves begin to dry and turn brown. Does the tree clench its branches, desperately trying to hold on to the dying leaves? Does it panic about how bare and vulnerable it will look in the harsh winds of winter? No. The tree simply lets go. It allows the dead leaves to fall gently to the earth. It trusts the deep, unseen roots beneath the soil. It knows that releasing the old is the only way to survive the winter and make room for the new blossoms of spring. The tree understands that to resist the changing season is to resist life itself. But as humans, we rarely act like the tree. We hold on until our hands bleed. We cling to relationships long after the warmth has faded, terrified of the empty space that walking away would create. We mourn the loss of past versions of ourselves, comparing our current lives to memories that no longer exist. When an unexpected change disrupts our perfectly laid plans, we feel deeply betrayed by the universe. We spend all our energy trying to tape dead leaves back onto the branches. Ask yourself, what season of your life are you refusing to let go of? What inevitable change are you desperately trying to fight? Are you causing yourself profound emotional pain by holding on to a reality that simply is no longer there? Pause, breathe, open your tightly clenched fists. Look at whatever is shifting in your life right now, and instead of bracing for impact, simply acknowledge it. Say to yourself, "This too is changing." Let the leaves fall without resistance, because true peace is never found by forcing things to stay exactly the same. It is found by learning to stand tall through the changing of the seasons. But accepting that life will change does not mean you are entirely powerless. Surrendering to impermanence does not mean you give up on your life. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. Doing your part and letting go. What if the act of letting go is not the same thing as giving up? Here is a truth that trips up even the most self-aware among us. We often confuse effort with control. We believe that if we just work hard enough, love deeply enough, or plan perfectly enough, we can somehow force the universe to hand us the exact result we demand. You pour your heart into a fragile relationship, expecting the other person to change. You dedicate endless hours to a new path, demanding it brings you immediate security. You offer your help to someone struggling, feeling deeply anxious or resentful when they do not follow your advice. You are terrified that if you release your tight grip, everything you have worked for will fall apart. You believe that your constant, painful worrying is the glue keeping your life together. But this demand for a guaranteed return on your emotional investment is what leaves you so profoundly exhausted. Buddhist wisdom teaches a beautiful middle path between obsession and apathy, non-attachment to outcomes. In Buddhist thought, we are called to take right action. We are meant to engage with life deeply, to act with courage, and to put forth sincere, honest effort. But, and this is the crucial step, we must then release our demand for a specific result. We are responsible for the action, not the outcome. When we tie our inner peace to a future result that we cannot control, we invite suffering right through the front door. Imagine a dedicated farmer planting a field. The farmer does everything within their power. They plow the hard earth, carefully bury the seeds, pull out the weeds, and carry heavy buckets of water. They do their part with total devotion. But no matter how hard the farmer works, they cannot control the sun. They cannot command the rain to fall. And they certainly cannot reach into the dirt, grab the tiny seed, and physically pull it upward to make it grow faster. If the farmer stands in the field screaming at the soil, demanding the harvest to appear today, they only destroy their own peace. The farmer must do the work and then surrender to the mystery of the growth. We forget this wisdom constantly in our modern lives. You try to communicate perfectly with a loved one and then feel utterly panicked when they need time to process. You do everything right to build a stable future, yet the path ahead remains stubborn and foggy. You are standing in the field, screaming at the soil. You are exhausted because you are trying to do the universe's job as well as your own. You are trying to control the weather. Ask yourself, where in your life are you putting in the effort but refusing to let go of the result? Where are you exhausting yourself trying to force a seed to grow on your own timeline? Pause. Breathe. Separate your honest effort from the final outcome. Do your part, then release the rest. Say to yourself, I have done what I can today. The outcome is no longer mine to carry. You are only responsible for planting the seed. You do not have to carry the weight of the sun and the rain on your shoulders. But what happens in that quiet, empty space after you have done your part? And the answer has not yet arrived. How do you survive the silence of waiting? And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Finding stillness in the unknown. What if the most powerful thing you can do when you are completely lost is absolutely nothing? Here is a truth that makes our anxious minds incredibly uncomfortable. We absolutely hate the waiting room of life. We despise the quiet, empty space between making a choice and seeing the outcome. When you have planted the seed but the sprout has not yet broken through the soil, a deep, restless panic begins to set in. You feel a desperate urge to act, to do anything to fix the uncertainty. You send one more text message, hoping to force a resolution. You create 3 more backup plans. You pace the floor, your mind racing through endless hypothetical disasters. You convince yourself that if you are not moving, you are failing. You believe that stillness is dangerous. Buddhist wisdom offers a completely different perspective. In Buddhist thought, there is a profound difference between doing nothing out of fear and doing nothing out of wisdom. The practice of mindfulness teaches us how to rest in the don't know mind. This is the radical acceptance of the space where things are not yet resolved. It is the understanding that some answers cannot be hunted down, forced, or manipulated. Some answers can only be waited for. Imagine a glass jar scooped directly out of a rushing, muddy river. The water inside the jar is cloudy, dark, and turbulent, swirling with sand and dirt. You cannot see through it. Now, imagine trying to make the water clear by shaking the jar. Imagine reaching your hand inside, frantically trying to catch the particles of dirt and pull them out. What happens? You only stir up the mud. You make the water darker. You make the confusion worse. The only way the water becomes clear is if you set the jar down. You must leave it entirely alone. You must allow it to be still. Over time, without any effort on your part, the heavy dirt will naturally settle to the bottom and the water will become perfectly clear. We are constantly shaking the jar of our own minds. You are waiting for clarity about a painful breakup, a career transition, or a major life decision. Instead of letting the situation breathe, you overanalyze every detail. You talk about it endlessly. You lose sleep trying to violently force an answer to appear before its time. You are trying to solve a problem of the future with the frantic, muddy energy of today. Ask yourself, are you frantically shaking the jar right now? Are you trying to force clarity into a situation that simply needs time to settle? What would happen if you just set the problem down for a single day? Pause. Breathe. Let the confusion exist without trying to solve it this very second. You do not have to have the final answer today. Let the mud settle. Clarity is not something you manufacture through sheer force. It is something that gently reveals itself when you are quiet enough to see it. But to sit in that stillness, to actually allow the mud to settle without panicking, you must cultivate something much deeper than patience. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Trusting the unseen path. What if the darkness that terrifies you is not a wall, but a wide open door? Here is the silent fear hiding beneath all our desperate attempts to control the future. We do not trust life. And more importantly, we do not trust ourselves to handle what life brings. When the path ahead vanishes into the fog, you feel entirely abandoned. You want a map with every single turn perfectly marked. You want an ironclad guarantee that your leap of faith will not end in a painful fall. You believe that unless you know exactly where you are going, you are utterly lost. So you stand frozen at the edge of your own life, waiting for the fog to completely clear before you are willing to take a single step. You wait, and you worry, and you exhaust yourself by standing completely still. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that seeking a perfect map is just another heavy form of grasping. In Buddhist thought, the journey of life is not about commanding the road to reveal itself. It is about cultivating presence. True peace comes from developing a deep, unshakable trust in your own inner resilience. You do not need to know the final destination to know you are walking in the right direction. When we demand that the future prove its safety before we participate in the present, we miss the only moment where life actually happens. The present moment is the only solid ground you will ever stand on. Imagine walking through a dense, thick fog in the middle of a vast, dark forest. You are holding a small, quiet lantern. The light from this lantern does not pierce a mile into the distance. It does not illuminate the entire forest or show you the exact shape of the mountains ahead. It only shines brightly enough to reveal a single patch of dirt right in front of your toes. If you demand to see the end of the forest before you move, you will stand shivering in the cold forever. But if you trust the lantern, if you simply take the one small step that is illuminated, the light moves with you. You suddenly realize that seeing one step ahead is absolutely all you need to make it through the entire forest. We demand that impossible mile of light in our daily lives. You refuse to leave an unfulfilling situation because you cannot perfectly visualize what comes next. You delay healing from a deep emotional wound because you cannot see exactly who you will be on the other side of the pain. You let the massive, heavy uncertainty of the next 10 years crush your ability to make a single beautiful choice today. You forget a vital truth. You have survived every single unknown you have ever faced in your entire life. The fog has never once defeated you. Ask yourself, what small step are you refusing to take right now because you cannot see the whole staircase? Are you missing the gentle light of this exact moment because you are staring blindly into the heavy fog of tomorrow? Pause, breathe. Bring your attention completely back to where you stand right now. Feel the ground beneath your feet. You do not need to figure out the next 5 years today. You only need to navigate the next 5 minutes. You have the lantern. You have the light. All you have to do is trust yourself enough to take one small, quiet step into the mist. But taking that step into the unknown requires the deepest and most absolute form of surrender. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. The freedom of surrender. What if the peace you have been desperately searching for has been waiting for you to simply put down your heavy armor? We began this journey by looking at the profound exhaustion of trying to manage tomorrow, the sleepless nights, the endless loops of anxious thoughts, the tight, clenched fists. You have spent so much of your life trying to hold the river still, trying to force the seed to grow, and demanding that the thick fog part before you take a single step. You believed that if you just held on tightly enough, you would finally feel safe. But look at how tired you are. Look at how much of your precious energy has been spent fighting a future that does not even exist yet. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that true freedom is never found by conquering the external world. True freedom is found by conquering our desperate need to control it. Surrender is often misunderstood as defeat. We think that letting go means we are giving up, that we are becoming passive victims of circumstance. But non-attachment is actually a profound act of courage. Surrender is the moment you finally realize that the universe is vast, life is beautifully unpredictable, and you no longer have to carry the crushing weight of holding it all together. Surrender is the highest form of self-respect. It is the quiet, powerful decision to stop abandoning yourself in the present moment just to obsess over a tomorrow that is completely out of your hands. Think back to the bird in the cage with the open door. You do not have to stay locked inside the familiar prison of your own what-ifs. You do not have to keep shaking the muddy jar of your mind, begging for an immediate answer to a question that just needs time. You can let the dead leaves fall. You can let the river flow exactly as it wants to. You can step out into the vast, open sky of your life and deeply trust that your wings will hold you no matter what the weather brings. You have survived every storm you desperately tried to predict, and you have survived every storm you never saw coming. You are stronger than your fear of the unknown. Ask yourself, right now, in the quiet truth of your own heart, what are you finally ready to let go of today? What heavy, invisible burden are you going to set down on the side of the road? Pause. Breathe. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, Physically feel the tension leaving your hands, your shoulders, your chest. Unclench your jaw, soften your grip. Allow yourself to just be here exactly as you are, in this exact moment. You do not need to figure out the rest of your life today. The future will handle itself when it arrives. Right now, in this single quiet moment, you are entirely safe. Right now, you are enough. Peace is not a fortress you build to keep the unexpected out. Peace is the vast, gentle space you create inside yourself, where whatever happens, you know you will be okay. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.